What's an incredibly American thing Americans don't realize is American? Free refills at restaurants. Edit. My inbox detonated. Send help. Ranch. Back when I worked in Panera Bread, a customer asked for ranch. We didn't carry it back then, and when we informed him, he said, "Are y'all communists?" Prescription drug commercials. Thanking military people for their service. Handing your credit card to a stranger, having them walk away, swipe it, then bring it back to like they didn't just put a down payment on a new house with it. Drive-through ATMs and everything else. I didn't learn we had drive-through liquor stores until later in my life. American here. When I studied abroad, I was smiling and friendly to strangers. In London they looked like I wanted to steal something from them. Lol, I studied in France when I was in college and lived with a family for the year. Awesome people, but the dad made no secret of his disdain for Americans. I guess it was the mom that must have convinced him to have Americans board with them because he never seemed too pleased about it. Anyway, one of my favorite quotes from Jacques was, "You stupid Americans, always walking around smiling, like a bunch of goddamn idiots." The mom started screaming at him for being rude when he said that to us. Another American was boarding as well. But we thought it was hilarious and made it a point to walk around the house smiling and greeting him with an effusive bonjour, monsieur every day. I think we did win him over eventually. Rip, Jacques, may you have eventually found love for Americans in your heart. Smiley face. Edit. No, we did not kill Jacques, for those who are asking. This happened back in 1992. My roommate, who is now one of my closest friends, and I kept in touch with the family for years after our time studying there. Sadly, Jacques passed of old age about 7 years ago. Saw this with my American friends when I lived in Moscow. They walked around with this pleasant, anticipatory smile on their face and people thought they were mentally challenged. Ha! I remember a Russian friend explaining to me that Americans just look like idiots, smiling for no reason all the time. Russians apparently smile when they have something to smile about. I read a paper that basically says it is because our high immigrant past. Apparently, when people with diverse languages who cannot understand each other verbally all the time are in close quarters with each other, they use physical cues, such as constant smiling, to communicate. I'm American. When I moved to Australia I was constantly asked 3 questions. 1. How do you pronounce aluminum? 2. How do you pronounce Jaguar? 3. Are red Solo cups a real thing? In all the movies whenever there is a house party everyone has a red Solo cup. I was caught completely off guard by the Solo cup question. Ever since then I've been very attentive to Thai's damn red cups. They really are everywhere. Edit. Well, this blew the fuck up. Keep the questions coming. This is a fun read. The cult of high school college sports. Liberal left wing. Daily driving pickup trucks. Not including tax on prices displayed in stores. Sending Christmas cards with their family photo on it. Not making posts about other countries. Paying $10,000 for a live birth and thinking that's okay. Mixing 3 different canned foods together and calling it a casserole. Singing the national anthem at every possible opportunity, even when the event does not involve any other countries. Pledging allegiance to the flag or singing the national anthem outside of special events. I went to see a kids' talent show in a small rural town. There were maybe 8 acts and 30 people watching and they all stood and pledged allegiance to the flag and sang the national anthem beforehand. It was extremely strange. Air conditioning. I'm very surprised no one has said this yet. It's not that other countries don't have heating and AC. They do. But our use of them, especially the latter during the summer, is astronomically higher than anywhere else on the planet, even when compared to other first world countries. Making pancakes from the box. Everyone else is making pancakes from scratch? You're right, I didn't know this. Not owning a passport. I don't know if that is a myth, but I hear that a huge percentage of Americans have never been out of the country and don't even have a passport. I understand that the U.S. is huge with a massive range of landscapes and climate, but it still seems a little odd to me. Edit. According to the U.S. State Department, they estimate 37% of U.S. citizens don't own a passport. Edit 2. I'm sure there are plenty of perfectly good reasons for it. It's not a criticism. Edit 3. Today I learned a lot fewer people than I realized have passports. Typical that my most upvoted comment on Reddit turns out to be nonsense. A lot of Americans don't have the money to travel internationally. Not having to ask for the bill. It's curious, I'm European and if someone gave me the bill without asking I would think it's rude because it feels like they're rushing me to leave. Lol, I'm American and I asked for the bill at a restaurant in France before we were finished eating because I'm aware of the need to ask for it and we wanted to be able to get up and leave whenever we wanted and not have to flag him down later. The restaurant was getting rather busy and didn't want to bother him if he was preoccupied later. He was deeply offended and encouraged us that we were in no rush to leave. And then didn't bring us the bill and refilled our waters and tried to get us to stay. I'm sorry random waiter, I didn't mean to offend you. This happened to me at a Greek restaurant in the US. I asked for a box because I was full and the owner told me no. You don't have to leave. I am not closing. Please stay. I was Lyle, oh it's delicious but I just can't eat it all. I want it for breakfast tomorrow. And then we discussed the amazingness of a gyro omelette. Greeks don't believe in the concept of being full. Currently on my first proper trip in the US and a few things stood out to me. Overall great place. Restaurants by default will bring everyone cups of water, sometimes with ice to pay the bill in the restaurant. They take my card and walk off. Then they come back with a few extra receipts and I can write down a tip and they will change the amount they charged me later. I didn't even know this was a thing that places could do. I have notifications to check the charges are correct just in case. Every toilet I've been to so far has been pretty clean with little mess. Worst one was at the airport and even that wasn't too bad. Although the very high water inside the toilet is weird, it hasn't been an issue yet. Some confusion about this. I'm mainly just talking about in restaurants, shops. Don't think I've used public restrooms at any train station. Just the airport. Streets go from dirty mess to clean and nice quickly. More homeless than I'm used to in London. Street food stands are pretty delicious. Pretty much all food stands in NYC seem to be halal, which is nice. Larger drink cans, portions. Mixed road qualities but overall big roads and cars. Not a fan of the pedestrian crossings because I just don't fully understand the symbols yet. I think I get the symbols now. It was just the red hand with the timer throwing me off. Timer should be with the white figure. Air conditioning everywhere, which is definitely required. Speeding on the highway. Literally everyone is above the speed limit. We think we're missing something because everyone is above the speed limit. No shot would that happen in the UK, we have cameras everywhere. Edit. On mobile, so excuse shit spelling, grammar.